Let us be aware that while they preach the supremacy of the state, declare its omnipotence over individual man, and predict its eventual domination of all peoples on the earth, they are the focus of evil in the modern world.
Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest.
America will find you, and we will bring you to justice.
We came, we saw, we died.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today is June 5th, 2023. It is a very lovely Monday morning. The sun is just starting to peek out through the clouds. I think it's quite early, so I think I might have beat the sun awake this morning. But I figured I'd get up early, go ahead and get this done, get my ramblings out, and try to get out there, get outside into the city, take a walk around, and see what the day brings. But what is on my mind today? Trains. Not planes, not automobiles, trains. Choo-choo trains, locomotives. Chugga-chugga, choo-choo. You know, the things that get ran on your mama. But anyway, the reason that trains are on my mind is because I guess this past weekend, there was a crash in India. I think something like 275 people died, maybe, and another 1,000 were injured. 288 people killed in the crash, with more than 1,175 people injured. That is insane to think about. Now, granted, on a scale of 1 to India, that's not very 288 people. It hardly puts a dent anywhere, but it's still it's a crazy event. And it got me to thinking about, trains around the world, trains in America. And it's going to be an odd concept for most Americans to think about, because I dare say that most Americans have never ridden a train in America. It's not something, well, yeah, okay, unless you're from like the Northeast corridor, all those Boston and New York, DC people, they like to take their trains back and forth up and down the coast, but they're kind of weird anyways, so. But most people, I think, west of, where it matters, have never ridden a train more than once or twice in their lives. And probably on like a school field trip in 5th grade. You probably went somewhere, rode some historical, like coal-powered steam locomotive. But in the rest of the world, trains are a very viable form of transportation. And that's sad that, Americans, we don't use trains as much, because here, where I live, trains are a daily thing. I don't have a car, so if I need to get to another city, I'm taking a train. It's every day, back and forth on the train. Go to work, take the train, come home in the evening, take the train, go somewhere for the weekend, take a train. I can be to Paris and back in a day with the train. It's just a normal thing. And again, it sucks that America can't compete with that, because, we have something like 150,000 miles worth of train tracks all across America, which would dwarf any other country, but we don't use them except for transporting goods. And I think most people are aware of why we do that, because back in the day, the Detroit motor lobby, they wanted to push cars onto everybody, individualized transportation, so they subsidized the car industry and lobbied against the passenger train industry. So it kind of killed it off mid-century. It used to be pretty predominant. Everybody used to take trains back in the early 20th century. But yeah, once cars became the predominant mode of transportation around the country, trains disappeared. You didn't have to go sit in coach class with all the hobos and whatnot and get dirty and take 19 hours to go 100 miles. Now you could just drive. But like I said, across the world, trains are still big, including India. India has a weird train situation, though. They've got all these old colonial train lines with these old locomotives, and they never upgrade them. They just keep stacking more and more people on them. I think everybody's probably seen the videos and the pictures of, you got just swarms of Indians climbing on top of trains, 5 levels deep, just sitting on each other's shoulders and hanging off the sides, and that's looks fun. I'm not gonna lie, looks pretty fucking fun. But as you can see, when catastrophe strikes, it becomes an event. 288 lost souls, 1,175 beat up individuals, all because that train could probably hold 100 people, and there was 1,500 riding on it. I think a lot of tourists, a lot of Western tourists, they would go to India. They would ride these trains, get their Instagram pictures, make their little GoPro videos, come back home. I rode the train. It was so cool. I was hanging out with the locals. I was smoking a cigarette and riding the train. It was awesome. And then they get back on their train in Frankfurt, and they sit there all quiet and they read their phone, and if anybody speaks too loud, they shh, be quiet. We're on the train. Be quiet. So it's a whole different world. And well, there's a reason too that Europe has such good train routes and infrastructure for passenger trains, and the reason being, you can thank America for this, because America during World War II, see, the whole world was like all about trains. Trains were the new thing. In the early 1900s, late 1800s, early 1900s. Trains were the hip-hop new thing. Everybody wanted a train. Every country was investing heavily in infrastructure. Then World War I and II rolled around, especially World War II, and America came in and were like, we are going to fuck up your entire train system. We're going to bomb every train yard. We're going to send guys out, and we're going to blow up every track that they come across. We're going to destroy it all. We're just going to bomb it all to bits. And that's what happened. So America came in, bombed the fuck out of all of Western Europe's train stations and infrastructure. So then, after the war, everybody had to rebuild. When they rebuilt instead of with supply chain in mind, which it's still there, but instead of with that being the primary reason, they decided, okay, let's build rail cars, passenger trains. So that's whatever, Netherlands, Germany, Denmark, France, Switzerland, all these, Western European countries. They decided, let's reinvest into passenger transportation. So that's why anywhere you go, any small village you go here, there will be a train station that connects you to whatever large city, and then from there you can go on to other large cities, and it's like a network of blood vessels. You can just spread out anywhere you want to go. Unluckily for America, that never happened. So we still have these huge tracks that span across the country, but they don't go to these small, and in fact, the small little towns that they used to go to, that the whole town, the reason for the town being there was that they were like a supply depot. Well, once people stopped coming, these little towns dried up, and it just killed off all these little towns along the rail, because there was no business there anymore. But this never happened. We never upgraded to a passenger system. We stayed with a supply chain system. And now there is a caveat to this, which I think this will be a story for another time, but you can actually ride the trains across America. And I did this when I was 18, 19. I did this quite a bit, where you just hop on a train and ride it wherever it's going. Most of the time, you kind of know where it's going. You know the general direction, and you know where you probably can get off at. But sometimes, you get on the wrong one, and you think you're going west, and then all of a sudden, fucking a day later, you end up in Philadelphia, and there's a guy beating you with a baton and trying to chase you down and spray you with mace, but then you have to kind of fight him back and then run off, and then you're lost in the fucking crevices of Philly for like 3 days, and that's not fucking nice at all. But I digress. It happens to the best of us, and we learn lessons from it. But anyway, so yeah, that never happened. America never upgraded from supply chain system to a passenger system, and I think we need to do that. It's about time. Okay, everybody's talking about it. Electric cars, getting rid of all the cars on the road, which I don't think is necessary. I think we have the infrastructure to use cars. Let's use them, but let's add to it, and let's get a nice train system going. Plus, trains are fucking awesome. Trains are awesome. Like getting across Europe, if I have the choice and it takes, an hour and a half to fly somewhere, or 7 hours on a train, I will take the train 100% of the time, every single time. Every time. And I hate this whole shit now that they're doing, where they're trying to incentivize people to use trains more often and fly less for the environment or whatever. That's bullshit anyways. I don't do it for the environment. I do it because it's fucking cool. All right, sitting on a train and like drinking a bottle of wine and chilling is just so much nicer than the chaotic voyage of an airplane. And plus, I really don't have to worry about anything happening. I'm just sitting there. And, I got a small bladder. I got to piss a lot. So I want to be on a train. I get up, go to the toilet. I don't have to fight a bunch of fat German tourists to, use the toilet in the back of the plane, stand there shaking back and forth for 20 minutes. It's just a whole nother thing. I don't like that. I would choose the train 100% of the time, 10 times out of 10, every time. But they got to fucking get the price right. Because now it still costs the same, if not more, to take a 7-hour train than it does to take an hour flight. And that's bullshit. But that does not mean raise the price of flights. This is a concept that I think is lost on most people. That doesn't mean raise the price of flights and force people to take the train. It means lower the price of trains and give it a competitive advantage against airplanes. This whole new world idea of every time there's an inequality in something, to make it equal is to tear down one to the mean. No, like make it better for people instead of worse for others. That's a whole nother argument. We'll talk about that in another day. But that's the thing. If they want us to ride trains more, why don't they just make trains cheaper? Subsidize the trains instead of penalizing the airlines. But that's just me having crazy thoughts. In America, I think no one in power wants people taking trains in America. That's a lost cause. But I hope to see it happen. I know they've been talking about doing like the California corridor train since I was a kid. Since in like early 90s, they've been talking about this. Don't think it's done yet. But I wouldn't know. I try to stay the fuck away from California. That cesspool of a place. I kind of hope California breaks off on the next earthquake. I really do. I know it's an old joke, but God, that would be awesome. Just be a little big-ass island floating off into the sea. And I hope it floats, too. Not like takes millions of years to separate. I hope just like an earthquake hits, fault line cracks. It doesn't sink. I don't want it to sink. I want all the buildings to stay there, but I hope it just like floats into the sea. So like every 5 years, you want to go there on vacation just to see like how far it is, and that'd be cool. But yeah, I think we should upgrade the trains. I'd love a train from like all those old like cowboy trains through Oklahoma and Texas. go up through the Smokies. Turn those into passenger trains, man. That would be awesome. That would be so cool. Imagine getting on a train in Nashville, okay, getting off the train in fucking Vegas, right? Imagine that taking a day. Just a day, like a good 20 hours, okay? Right now, you could drive that in like 24 hours if you were just driving. But imagine a nice train ride. Takes you like a day. Get on in the morning, fall asleep, sleep through the night, wake up the next morning, you're there. Perfect. I would take that over a 4-hour flight every single time. Every single time. And they could even make it an event. Like, turn it into like how it was back in the day. Yeah? Fucking remember how in Titanic, like you had all the balls and the festivals going on, and then down in the undercarriage and the dumps, you had the poor people playing the accordion and dancing and shit and fucking in Model Ts. Do all that. Do all that. Set up a bar in one of the carriages. That'd be cool. Bring on some entertainment. I mean, imagine, like, make it like a Stormpiercer type thing. Imagine first class. You got fucking Miley Cyrus performing for all the rich people in first class, and then in the very back of the carriage, you got Jelly Roll sitting there getting high and rapping for everybody, just having a party. Like, eventually, everybody's gonna realize, like, hey, the party's in the back. Let's go kick it. That'd be awesome. Just like going from New York to LA, a 2-day train ride, just a 2-day party on a train. Yeah, but that'll get fucked up too, because then it'll just be a bunch of hipster Burning Man types taking over all the train rides, just doing drug-fueled sex parties back and forth across the country. But hey, that's an idea. That would be fun. I just want to see more trains and going from DC to Boston and back. It seems boring. Philly to New York. Yeah, okay, we get it. You're cool. You're from the city. You can take a train to work. Well, you know what? Fuck you. Start driving like the rest of America. Or move to Europe. We have a lot of trains here. You can come here and then you're normal. And then you don't have to brag about it. But make it affordable. That's the main thing. Make it affordable. Because even here where I live, these fucking trains, man, they're so expensive. It's like, I want to go somewhere that's, I don't know, 50 miles away, the equivalent, 50 miles, back and forth. It's going to cost me at 50 euros, probably. It's crazy. You go somewhere in America 50 miles away, that's fucking cost you $5 in gas. Well, maybe $10 in gas, back and forth. If that. And you get to drive your... okay, goddamn it. Now I'm talking myself into liking cars again. This isn't right. All right, I'm getting sidetracked. Anyway, trains, take them. Build more of them. Use the ones you got. India, stop wrecking your trains. Fucking put more people. Like, I don't know. Make them like double-decker trains or something. I don't know. Figure that out. You guys got to figure that out. You can't just be having 1,500 people getting fucked up every time a train falls off the tracks. Which, I mean, to be fair, in America, when a train falls off the tracks, Hiroshima is an entire city in Ohio, but I think that's a different topic again. So it's not like it's much better. Just different. Same, but different. Yeah. More trains. That's the motto of today. More trains. Choo, choo, choo. All right. Thank you for listening. And we'll do this again tomorrow. Goodbye.